There is only one requirement for the fundamentals of telling a good story: conflict. It could be an external conflict like Rocky Balboa having to beat Ivan Drago, or it can be an internal struggle, like Michael having to choose whether or not he wants to be the Godfather. Regardless of the kind of conflict, the characters need to have weaknesses. So for Rocky, he has to train, hence that awesome montage. For Michael Corleone, he has to physically shut the door on his weaker lifestyle. What happens though when you have characters who don't have weaknesses? This is a writing dilemma that many people call the Mary Sue, which is kind of an outdated term, so I'd prefer to call it the God character. A God character is a character who's so good at everything that they really have no weaknesses, which often results in a flat or boring character because there's no conflict to be made. In fact, when I was looking up synonyms for what you call a Mary Sue character, Google kind of just said that you call it a poorly written character. Except, of course, for Satoru Gojo. But why is that? How does Gojo work and have a legion of fans that defend him against their own creator when another God character is destroyed by the fan base for the same thing in REY's?
Oh God. No. No!
Please no. Please no. Where's Ben? Where the fuck is Ben?
REY Skywalker.
I know. I'm sorry. Her name's REY Skywalker. I have to call her by her name. In order to discover why Satoru Gojo works and REY Skywalker doesn't, we have to do two things. First, we have to correctly identify both characters as God characters. And then we have to explore how the writers are able to overcome the hurdle of being God characters. REY Skywalker in The Force Awakens first appears as a legacy sequel version of Han Solo. She's great with a blaster and a good mechanic.
What'd you do?
I bypassed the compressor.
But she doesn't participate at all in the realm of the Force. Instead, the marketing and trailers lead you to believe that Finn will actually be the new Jedi. But J.J. Abrams instead opts to use Finn as a sort of red herring, and it's revealed that Rey is actually the one gifted in the Force. The momentary oohs and ahs of this moment as the lightsaber flies past into her hand are trading for further, more permanent problems the trilogy's gonna have to deal with. Notably that Rey is a God character, and that Finn has nothing to do now, but that's a video essay for another day. So without Han's lacking weakness in the Force, Rey's now left without any weaknesses.
Satoru Gojo? What are you doing here?
Hey.
Satoru Gojo is similar to Rey in that he doesn't just have one legendary ability, but two, in Limitless and Six Eyes. Limitless allows Gojo to manipulate space and cover his body with infinity, which not only stops incoming attacks from making contact, but also he can just walk forward to annihilate someone. Six Eyes means that Gojo has the single best insight and perception into the world of Jujutsu Kaisen's cursed energy. And these two abilities combined, if the first and second alone weren't enough, makes Gojo a God character. So we have these two God characters. Now, how do the writers try to fix it? Well, first Rian Johnson tries in The Last Jedi by giving Rey a problem of not belonging. But the fans absolutely hated this, so then they gave J.J. Abrams a turn. So how does J.J. Abrams attempt to correct the mistake he's made by making Rey a god character? Well, take a look at the scene here. In a desperate moment, as Rey tries to save her friend Chewbacca, and also the fan favorite, might I add, good touch, JJ. She is overwhelmed with emotion and can't control her power and accidentally blows up the ship. Now, for sure, this moment can be read as a sort of foreshadowing for Palpatine, but there's actually a more simple and effective method that JJ is using here. Rey, the character that seemingly has no weakness, has a weakness. And that weakness is that she's simply too powerful. It's a simple yet extremely effective technique that JJ is using here, and brings up a lot of questions. Has she become so powerful she can't control it? Will she continue to hurt those around her? How will she react? Will she push her loved ones away or take the risk on by trying to control it? These are all fascinating questions. And my boy JJ loves questions.
What are stories but mystery boxes?
What's in the box?
Not till you give me the
What's in the fucking box?
Unfortunately though, JJ also hates answers.
No! No!
And it turns out that Chewbacca was fine the whole time, and that all of this is a bunch of setup for essentially nothing. But this also brings up a different problem. Let's say Rey does have a weakness in being too powerful, but do you really think she's not going to be able to fix it or solve it? The reason why is because you've already set up the precedent that every problem she faces, she immediately can fix. So whether or not this would be a long-lasting or even effective change to her character is up to debate.
I wasn't planning on showing up, but you got kind of roughed up, kid.
Gege Akutami takes a different approach than J.J. Abrams does. Instead of fabricating a weakness for the god character, he instead puts them into situations that test the limits of said power. There are a lot of great examples throughout the show of this technique, especially in the Season 2 Shibuya incident.
I'm saying I'm actually shocked you would ever have thought you could beat me with this loser shit.
But in order to be light on spoilers, I'm just going to talk about Jujutsu Kaisen 0. Also, I'm a movie channel, so it feels like that's what I should do. In the final act of the film, Geto is on his way to kill Yuta. Geto, knowing that he probably can't beat his former friend,
You changed your home screen?
Isn't she hot?
he instead sends Miguel to distract him so that he can get to Yuta. In this fight between Gojo and Miguel, it's never a question of whether or not Gojo is going to win, and Miguel slowly begins to realize that. But it's actually a contest on speed. It's not about whether or not Gojo can win the fight, it's about whether or not he can do it fast enough to stop Geto. Here, the conflict stems not from a weakness of Gojo, but from the scenario itself. How long will Miguel last, and how fast can Gojo go? What otherwise would have been a boring or flat fight between the two, where you know Gojo's gonna win, because he's Satoru Gojo, actually results in an incredibly gripping fight scene. Admittedly, this writing style, though, has its downsides, as Akutami himself has expressed his hatred for writing Gojo. As the story goes on, it only gets increasingly harder and harder to come up with such scenarios that create conflict for Gojo. And to be honest, if I was writing Jujutsu Kaisen, I would also hate writing Gojo.
You crying?
Nevertheless, what he's accomplished with the show and the movie for as long as Gojo stays around is incredibly impressive, and I can't think of another character like Gojo that's a god character that works. Because I sure shit know Rey doesn't. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I know it's a little different than normal, but I think this is a really cool medium for me to kind of try to step into. So if this is something you guys are interested in, let me know, because I love doing these, and I have a bunch of essays from college I can turn into videos. So if you guys are excited for videos like that and some reviews, please make sure to subscribe, comment, and share with a friend. Thanks for watching.